Your Grace Bishop Iakovos of Miletopolis, the Honourable Peter Garrett MP, Minister for School Education, Early Childhood and Youth, Reverend Fathers, Mr Economou, Mr Phillips, members of the board and parish, benefactors of the college, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Mrs Stefanou, our head of college, I welcome you to the fourth in a whole series of lectures under the title Appreciating Culture. I would like to acknowledge the presence of the following guests. His Grace Bishop Iakovos of Miletopolis, representing His Eminence Archbishop Stylianos, Primate of the Greek Orthodox Church in Australia. The Honourable Peter Garrett MP, Minister for School Education, Early Childhood and Youth. Very Reverend Father Stephen Skoudas, Father Constantine Varipatis and Presbytera, Father Peter Mavromatis, the Honourable Vasilios Tolios, Consul General for Greece, and Mrs Tolios, Mrs Jasmina Pekmezovic, Acting Consul General, Consulate of Serbia and Montenegro, and Mr Dominicelli, Mr Elia Economou, President of St Spyridon Parish, and Ms Dimitra Liveris, Mr James Phillips, Chairman of the Board of Governors, Councillor George Glinatsis, Deputy Mayor, City of Botany Bay, Mr Vorghese, Chairman World Malay League Council, Australia and the Far East, Mrs Elsie Tsangaris, President of St Spyridon Ladies Auxiliary, and other members, Ms Anna Stamoulis, President of the Parents and Friends Association, and other members of the association, Mr Anthony Tsutsa, All Saints Grammar Principal, Mr Con Pavlou, Relationship Manager, Bank of Cyprus, Maroubra, Mrs Charula Themistokleous, representing the Board of Directors, All Saints Grammar. Of course, staff, parents, ex-students, and current students, welcome to everybody this evening. And we will begin with a musical piece. Chopin, Nocturne, B-flat, minor, Opus 9, number 1, to be performed by Sofia Balejczyk, Year 11, HSC Music Accelerant, on piano, and Mr Sam Pajowski, a violin tutor with many years connected to our college. Please make them welcome. Congratulations to Sophia. You obviously did not see the violinist. Mr. Pajowski sadly had to rush. His time was a little bit limited and he had to rush to the Opera House because he's a member of the orchestra for Opera Australia. And sadly, we missed his performance, and I'm sure there'll be many opportunities in the future. But I think Sophia was an opportunity for us to enjoy her in this outstanding manner. She performed this piece for the high school certificate this year. So congratulations again, Sophia. We have combined the lecture with the arts exhibition so that our friends can see a snapshot of the area of the curriculum that cultivates creativity and imagination. We congratulate the curators of this year's exhibition, Mr. Peter Wenniston of Icon Innovations and Miss Marie-Claire Pringle, our visual arts specialist, on an outstanding event. We have artwork from our students from years 7, 9, 10 and 11, along with visiting artists. Willie Mikowski. Willie Mikowski's career as a potter has been highlighted by many exhibitions, including one-man solo shows. His works are represented in public collections in Australia. Willie has taught classes for the past 30 years and runs workshops specialising in wheel throwing and sculpturing techniques. Dr. Thomas Savoulis. Dr. Thomas Savoulis is a long-time member of the parish and of our Board of Governors, a physician with a love of the creative arts. He has displayed his artwork at previous exhibitions as well as in Rhodes, Greece. Yorios Papageorgiou, HSC 2010, an ex-student of the College, currently studying at the Australian National University School of Art, Canberra, where he's majoring in painting. In 2010, while studying for his HSC, Yorios had work chosen for exhibition at the North Sydney Art Prize and the Kirribilli Art Show, where he won the Youth Prize, from which time he has had commissions. In Canberra, Yorios has been contributing to group exhibitions and was recently the subject of an article in ANU's newspaper, Wanderoy. Despina Karpis is a current Year 11 student. Despina will be completing her HSC in 2012. She was chosen to attend the prestigious National Art School Intensive Studio Practice course in the Faculty of Ceramics, a privilege for any student. A photo of Despina's work in progress was the feature of the official invitation for the graduating exhibition, and we congratulate Despina. Our second musical item, People Get Ready by Curtis Mayfield. It will be performed by Demi Koutelis Year 9 on voice, Panagiotis Kapodistrias Year 9 piano, Dylan Kontos Year 9 lead electric guitar, James Koutelis Year 8 rhythm guitar, and Matthew Chiam Year 8 drums.
People get ready. There's a train a-coming. You don't need no baggage, no, just get on board. All you need is faith to hear those diesels humming. You don't need no ticket, no, just thank the Lord.
Congratulations to the students. Students of the middle school, we have many years to look forward to of being entertained by them. I think they deserve another warm round of applause.
Thank you, Mrs. Katsianis. What a thrill for our students to be playing before Peter Garrett. It's a pretty amazing event. Your Grace, Bishop Iakovos, Reverend Fathers, distinguished guests all, ladies and gentlemen, past and present students, good evening. The aim of the Appreciating Culture Lectures was to establish St Spyridon as a centre for excellence and lifelong learning, of intellectual endeavour and the search for the truth, not only for its teachers and students, but the community at large. The first was held in 2003 to celebrate the school's 21st birthday. The speaker was the late Gavin Brown, the then Vice-Chancellor and Principal of the Sydney University, and he proposed that universities should be places of light, liberty and learning, rather than places for buying credentials for coursework. We too at St Spyridon have the ambition to go beyond the transactional view of education and to develop the whole person, mind, body and soul. In 2008, the then Attorney General of New South Wales, John Hatzisterkos, spoke to us about the importance of the Eureka Stockade as a force, as the impetus for the development of the Australian Constitution. In 2005, His Eminence Archbishop Stylianos of Australia defined for us what were the priorities in true culture. He said that true culture is predicated on freedom, on health, education, and interpersonal relations, the most important of these being freedom. If freedom and social justice are fundamental to the development of true culture, I can think of no one better to edify us in appreciating culture than tonight's speaker, the Honourable Peter Garrett, Minister for School Education, Early Childhood and Youth. Peter was born in Wahroonga, New South Wales and attended Barker College. He holds a Bachelor of Arts degree from ANU and a degree in laws from the University of New South Wales. Peter was elected to the House of Representatives for Kingsford Smith in 2004 and 2007. Prior to this, he held ministerial appointments as Minister for the Environment, Heritage and the Arts and Minister for the Environment Protection, Heritage and the Arts. With Labor in opposition, he was Shadow Parliamentary Secretary for Reconciliation and the Arts and Shadow Minister for Climate Change, the Environment and Heritage and the Arts. Peter is a man of principle and compassion. He is a relentless champion for the truth, no matter how unpalatable it may be. He has been a powerful champion for the disadvantaged and the dispossessed, for social justice and the care of our beleaguered planet. Of course, we all know him as the lead singer in the Australian band Midnight Oil. Their 13-album career culminated in the ARIA Lifetime Achievement Award in 2006. Through their music and Peter's distinctive voice and persona, they reshaped Australia's values and our nation's identity throughout the world. Peter was president of the Australian Conservation Foundation, serving 2 terms, and received the Australian Humanitarian Foundation Award in 2000. In 2003, he received the Order of Australia for his contribution to environment and the music industry. In 2009, he was awarded the prestigious French Government Officer of the Order of the Arts and Letters. He has been acknowledged as a leading green thinker by the Green Building Council of Australia. In 2010, the World Wildlife Fund, Australia and International, presented him with their Leader for a Living Planet Award. Tonight he will speak to us about the power of music in education. Thank you, Minister.
Thank you very much, Head of College, Efrosini Stefanahag, His Grace, Consul General and Mrs. Kolios, Mrs. Kotsagianis and others, distinguished guests, and all of you who've come here tonight. Can I acknowledge the traditional owners and custodians of the land on which we meet, paying my respect to their elders. It's very good for me to be back at St Spyridon. And Sophia played beautifully, and the Year 9 band played and sang really well too. To know of the great commitment that this school has to the creative endeavour. And to have the opportunity to give the Appreciating Culture lecture to the school community. Particularly as this is the first lecture, I think, to be held in the Sports and Performing Arts Centre funded by this Labor government under the Building the Education Revolution. I remember very well attending the speech and prize-giving ceremony a few years ago and presenting the Kingsford Smith Prize for Excellence in Music to Tina Andrew. And I visited at other times as well to see the computers delivered under our National Secondary Schools Computer Fund, and as well this wonderful multi-purpose hall and the walkways developed from our Building the Education Revolution. And can I say to the school, the Board of Governors, what a tremendous commitment you have made, not only to match but to exceed the contribution made by the Australian Government. This is truly a wonderful facility. The fact is that schools in our area have been hugely improved by the BER. Apart from the improved facilities at this school, the BER has delivered more than 120 projects to 38 schools in this electorate. We've invested a whopping $80 million in the BER in Kingsford Smith. I think this was money very well spent. We've improved the facilities of every school so that all teaching staff get better classrooms, labs and the like, and children get a better education. And of course, that spending also helped the nation through the global financial crisis. And to see that the students and the teachers and the community at St Spyridon has benefited from this investment is very satisfying for me and for the government, which I'm a member, because in this case we're assisting an already high-quality school. About a third of the 600,000 people of Greek descent in Australia live here in Sydney. So the church and school in Kingsford and this college are not only a hub of spirituality, education and social life in this area, but also play a valued role in the local community and additionally in the wider Greek community in this city. And your community is a wonderful example of how people of Greek descent proudly live as citizens of Australia whilst not losing the faith, values and cultural heritage of your ancestry. Indeed, you go out of your way to share that vibrant culture with the rest of the community, and we are all the richer for it. We see that approach of reaching out to the rest of the community in this college, which has a significant enrolment of people not of Greek ancestry. This is a great gift that you are giving to others. I know many students are drawn here from well outside this area, travelling considerable distances to be part of this school community. They're drawn here because of the strong values and commitment to excellence that's embedded in your approach to education. And I want to acknowledge that and commend your efforts tonight. Before I speak about the importance of music in education, I do want to say how passionate I am about giving this college and the thousands of other schools around Australia the support the principals and teachers need to give every child a great education. We know that quality teaching is the single most important in-school contributor to the achievement of students. This year's school education budget was squarely directed at improving teaching and teacher quality, with substantial new funding to improve schools and to recognise and reward teachers. And this is only part of our agenda. We've doubled the education budget. We've improved facilities in every Australian school. We've rolled out national assessment, a national curriculum, national teacher training standards, national standards for teachers, and directed $2.5 billion to improve the performance of the nation's most disadvantaged students. We've provided hundreds of thousands of students with laptop computers. We've introduced transparency with the My School website and are in the process of conducting, for the first time in a generation, the school's funding review. Never before have the nation's schools seen so much activity and reform. It is a challenging period, and we are asking a lot of our teachers, principals, and school communities. But the result will be a modern, flexible, high-quality education system based on the needs of the 21st century, not on the ideas of the 19th century. And I do hope that you understand that we have an ambitious but achievable reform agenda to support schools, principals, and teachers so that every child, irrespective of where they live or how much money their parents earn, right across the school sectors of government and non-government schools, both of which we support, receive a great education. What is a great education? A great education is about being literate and numerate, about individual access to work and study. A great education is fundamental to the nation's prosperity. But the school years are also about personal growth and happiness and about discovering and understanding ourselves. And that's why I'm a firm believer in a broad, liberal education. A firm believer that a high-quality education must include the arts and that every student should have access to an arts education. And this, of course, includes music. So let me move now to a subject that is very dear to me, the importance of music in education. It's the subject of my address to you tonight. Music has always been central to our existence and to our experience, to the human story. We engage with sound from the moment we're born, listening to our parents and boldly sharing our own attempts at language with the rest of the world. We sing as a social pastime, as sacred expression, and sometimes as a cry for justice. The human voice has always been the mainstay of our musical activity, with many musical instruments mimicking or extending the amazing natural power and range of the voice. People sing at demonstrations, at sporting events, in churches, to their children, on special occasions like birthdays and Christmas. We sing in the shower, on our own in the car, and while we do the housework or the washing up. Maybe I don't do so much of that at the moment. Singing and creating sounds, creating music, is intrinsic to being human. Intrinsic to our expression of love and joy, of hope and sorrow. And humanity started out with just our voices to provide music, and from that first instrument of the body, others followed. And now we have an amazing variety of music and musical expression. We see in symphony orchestras, jazz ensembles, choral work, the musical genius of individual human beings as composers and as people working together in meticulous execution. And as we grow up, of course, we experience music through the culture that we grow up in and through other cultures too. The Greek culture gives us a great example of how central music is to us as human beings and how we experience the world. Greece has adopted the music of many other lands and cultures, and yet given each a distinctively Greek approach with special genres of Greek jazz and blues and punk and rock and so on. And I can't make this address without mentioning the great Greek musician and composer, Mikis Theorakis, who enriched the music of the world with the unique sounds of Greece and showed how important music is as an expression of the culture and the soul of his nation and of its people. His music wasn't merely Greek in style or form, it expressed the personality of the Greek people. Only a great musician making great music can do that. And I did a little bit of research and discovered that the traditional flavours of Greek music are also incorporated into the music of the present. This goes all the way to the current trend for Laco pop, combining the old traditions and the new, sometimes with the classic bouzouki involved. It's just one set of examples of the amazing variety of music expression and the strong, inextricable link between that expression and culture. Here in Australia, children learn music in many different ways. At this college, you have solid scholastic music activity, and I applaud that. It's great to hear that you participate in interactive performances provided by Music Viva, and we heard earlier tonight of some of the musical accomplishments of your students. You've got a St Spyridon choir, performances at music festivals. There are many extra musical experiences that are on offer at this college. And they're exciting and positive opportunities for the students who come here. Now, I want to talk about what's happening to students when they learn music, particularly at an early age. Because we're on the threshold of a deeper understanding of the benefits of arts education, including music. It's becoming much clearer that how important musical experience is to a child's development is now better known. Academic research is linking music education to improved health and well-being. It's also linking music performance and the arts to student engagement in all types of learning. For example, groundbreaking research from the Song Room, a non-government organisation that provides music programs for disadvantaged kids, has shown that long-term participation in music programs improves children's grades in academic subjects such as English and mathematics. These children, from very disadvantaged backgrounds, also had higher levels of well-being, including less stress, increased self-esteem, and importantly, improved social skills. Researchers tell us that the three areas vital to our well-being are happiness, connectedness, and creativity. And here, music, the gymnasium of the mind, can provide specific benefits. We now know that the plasticity of young brains means that musical training at an early age makes us more sensitive to pitch, to timing, to timbre, which seems to improve our capacity to understand the emotions of people with whom we are speaking. For example, this means we can learn languages more easily. And music therapy can reduce anxiety and pain and ease the symptoms of depression. It helps people with mental health problems and it helps people recover from trauma. So friends, music is a marvellous gift that can help the elderly to remember, the mute to speak, those with disability to participate more fully. And it can also make an invaluable contribution to the happiness and well-being of children. We know that the social and emotional benefits of music range through concert performance, listening to recorded music, simply singing on one's own. And in choosing a school for their kids, parents have often told me that the strength of its music program is often a determining factor. The parents don't know about this research. Intuitively, they know that it's good for their children. But the fact is that some of Australia's schools are less able to provide a high-quality music program than schools such as this one. That's why it's essential that music education is an integral part of the new Australian curriculum that will be delivered in all of Australia's schools. Every Australian school student is entitled to a consistent and high-quality education. And the Australian curriculum will give every student the same high-quality basis for their learning. When I was Arts Minister, I argued for the arts to be brought into the Australian curriculum as soon as possible. I'm delighted that all Australian governments have agreed that the next phase of the Australian curriculum, following English, maths, science and history, will include the arts. Now, obviously, I do bring personal experience to my support for musical education. But the fact is, we need to look more closely at the potential benefits of music education and make sure that every Australian student, every child, can share those benefits. So tonight at St Spyridon, at this lecture, I repeat the call that I've made to all educators, government and the community to ensure there are more opportunities for music education for all Australian students. And I'm calling on educators to reassess the role and value of learning music in school and to respond to the real educational and other benefits that flow from that learning. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and students, but especially parents and teachers, we owe it to our children to give them the best start in life we can, the best education possible. Music education, I've argued tonight, is a vital part of a well-rounded education. And I've argued that it's more than that. It's a great stimulator of academic, social, and learning success and simple happiness, as well as being great fun. And it sits at the heart of culture and cultural expression, something self-evident to people with Greek heritage. For the students here tonight, I have a special message. Excuse my pronunciations. Some of you, after leaving this college, will undertake further study. Some will go off to work. If you're already involved with music, some of you may choose to study music at a tertiary level. Or you may join or start your own musical group. Or keep going a group that you've started here. After all, my bandmates, Rob Hurst, Jim Magini and Martin Rotzi, started playing together in high school, around about year 9, maybe a little later. We ended up with a career spanning 30 years that took us from a tiny stage in a grungy bar at the Kingsford Hotel, not far up Anzac Parade from here, and the site of one of our first ever gigs as Midnight Oil, to the concert halls of Europe and North America and beyond. And it was a great learning experience every step of the way. So, keep your music going in whatever way you can, because I can promise you, you won't regret it. Now, as each of you sets out to follow your chosen path, consider the nature of the gift you've received from your education here at St Spyridon. This is a gift that's not expected to be repaid to your parents, to the school, or the teachers. But it's a gift that you can pass on to others. So I encourage you to think about how you might pass on this gift in the future, just as you've been supported through your years of learning here at this college. This might take the form of mentoring, volunteering in your community, teaching, or simply looking out for someone who needs a hand. So I'll leave you with these thoughts. Keep imagining the possibilities. Hang on to your zest for creativity, maybe even with music. Work hard, of course. Enjoy what you do. And lastly, share your gifts with others in this community. And if you have musical gifts, share them widely. It's been a great honour for me to deliver this address. I wish all the students here well with their studies, and everyone else well too with your vital mission of providing educational and pastoral care to the students of St Spyridon. And as I conclude, I do know and commend you that you will be always excelling. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Minister. And to thank you appropriately for the vote of thanks, I invite His Grace, Bishop Iakovos of Miletoupolis, to give this vote of thanks.
Dear Minister, the Honourable Mr. Peter Garrett, the Honourable Consul General and Mrs. Dolios, Reverend Fathers, distinguished guests, co-workers and friends, families and students of our beloved college and college community and parish here of St Spyridon. I've been given the honour this evening to offer the vote of thanks on behalf of His Eminence, our Archbishop Stylianos. And I must say that I feel deeply moved by your address, by the points that you raised, by the message and the values that you reminded us of, which I'm sure that we all can relate to and need so much in this sacred work that is taking place here in this school. Growing up, I never thought that I would be here to address Peter Garrett, but life brings people together. And that is why this evening I take this opportunity to thank you for all that you have offered us this evening, all that you have offered previously and in the future as well. You understand very well the importance of our school and of all schools like this one. That's why your presentation tonight was so sincere and comprehensive. So thank you. Thank you and God bless. May you take our sincere appreciation back to our Prime Minister, speak on our behalf, encourage those in Parliament to continue to support this school and all schools in the nation because of the need to upbuild our society, creating good students, solid citizens, good families. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Grace. We would now like to present a gift to the Minister. If you'd like to come back on stage, Minister. And I invite the Chairman of the Board of Governors, Mr James Phillips, to come forward to present a gift, which is an original pottery from, by Willie Mikowski, one of the artists that we have noted this evening. Thank you from all of us.
Thank you very much. It was very nice.
And we would like to present gifts to the curators of the exhibition. I invite Elia Ikonomu, the President of our parish, to come forward, please. And invite firstly Mr Peter Wenniston, Icon Innovations. And our own visual arts specialist, Ms. Murray. Thank you.